Hello, everyone. My name is Dominic DeMore, and I want to thank you all for tuning in to the second, possibly third best thing you've heard all week. We have a great show for you today that includes a top-notch film news from around the industry, along with our assorted thoughts and opinions, ranging from insightful to downright what?
Repulsive.
Good substitute
Or
for not
obnoxious.
actually knowing the word. This is the I've Had Better Movies podcast. Let's kick it off. James, first topic of the day.
Our first topics are the first three trailers. 2 are good, 1 is not.
Yeah, a bit. I'd agree with your assessment.
Okay. I had to pause and I had to wait and see.
I don't remember which ones we were doing initially.
We will start off with the best one.
Like our
with agreement.
Yes, like our show, we might as well start off well and just go downhill from there.
And it is also the IHB movie of the week.
Yes, trailer, which you can find by going to www.ihbpodcast.com, right there on the homepage.
Correct. This movie is called Split.
Yes, so is the trailer, technically.
Well, yeah, but it didn't flow.
Yeah, it tells the story of a man who has 23 different personalities inside of his head. He's got multiple personality disorder. I'm pretty sure there's a different thing they call that nowadays. It's politically correct, but that's what we're going to call it. Stars James McAvoy and is from M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong himself.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Yes.
Directed and wrote.
Yes. Although you will not see his name anywhere in the trailer. It does that whole, which we will get to in a minute too for another trailer.
Well, yeah, because they say the director of.
Yeah, they don't mention Shyamalan. They just say director of because nobody wants to see that guy's name on a movie.
Yeah, but did you notice what movies they listed?
Signs, The Visit, The Sixth Sense.
Was it The Visit?
Yeah, The Visit's the last one they did.
Okay, it might have been. I just didn't remember that one. That was the one I couldn't think of.
Yeah, the Visit was the last one listed.
They didn't
talk about The Village. They didn't talk about Lady in the Water.
After Earth.
After Earth. They didn't do Last Airbender.
The Happening.
Yeah, they didn't do that one. Did they do Unbreakable? I think
No.
Unbreakable. Well, no,
I didn't see Unbreakable. But that is actually a good one that they
love
did not list.
I love Unbreakable.
Yeah.
Back to the trailer at hand, though.
Sorry.
So James McAvoy has these multiple personalities, and he kidnaps these 3 teenage girls and holds them hostage and mixes in the different personalities. And there's one that's a woman. There's one that appears to be the true crazy one. There's one where he's a 9-year-old boy, and they warn the girls that there's a beast coming, and the girls have something to do with why the beast is coming, whether they're sacrifices or something like that. We don't really know. But what'd you think of the trailer?
Looks amazing.
Yeah, I thought so too.
James McAvoy looks completely out of his mind.
Yeah, and he plays that screwed up guy really well. Like that, he was in that movie Filth.
Yeah.
Which is it's a weird movie.
Super weird.
But James McAvoy was really good in it, no matter what you thought of the movie.
Yeah, he was. There's a lot going on in that movie too.
This movie, Split, I think I'm really going to enjoy. I did not see The Visit. It did well in theaters, and it got overall positive reviews for what the movie was. But everything before that I know was total crap.
Yeah. I think the biggest issue this movie could have is the 3 younger girls.
Yeah.
If they are not acting well, this movie could not do well.
Yeah, definitely, because there's going to be a heavy... It's probably going to be a 4-person movie for the most part.
Yeah.
Well, 4 people and the 23 personalities inside the one. That's my biggest question mark. Is that number 23?
Is it... Yeah. Are we going to see 23? Or is it just, some number that sounded cool?
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a number that just sounds cool because in a 2-hour movie, because no way Shyamalan's getting more than 2 hours out of this. You're going to have a different one every, I don't know, 5 minutes?
Yeah. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. And then the ones you like, you're going to have to focus on more. Like, it looks like the 9-year-old one gets a significant portion.
The 9-year-old, the woman, and the beast is probably going to get a good amount of play.
Yeah, so I'm going to guess that we'll see maybe like 8 to 10, and the other 13 are just going to be like, oh, I have those 2.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the discussion on the Split trailer. Let us know what you guys thought. Again, you can find that at www.ihbpodcast.com. Or let us know what you thought about it if you've already seen it in the comment section below. Or hit us up on Twitter at IHBPodcast. Or send us an email to
IHBpodcast@gmail.com.
Bingo. On to our next trailer, which features Matt Damon's hair. The Great Wall. It tells the story. It's a teaser trailer. Essentially, it's about a minute and a half long. It tells the story of how the Great Wall was constructed, and while we thought it was initially to keep out the Huns or one of those invading forces, Genghis Khan, stuff like
Mongolian.
that. Yeah, Mongolians.
Barbecue.
I haven't been there in so long.
I know. It sounds really good right now.
It does. In fact, it was done to keep out this supernatural force that might look like giant man-like Komodo dragons.
Yep.
Yeah, so, and it features Matt Damon, a white guy, in, 1000 BC China.
I believe they call them round eyes in the Marco Polo series.
All right, well, that's just racist.
Isn't it?
Yeah, so, you didn't get a whole bunch of story, you just got basically, these are invading, we have assembled this giant force to fight, and what do you think of the trailer?
Matt Damon's hair. That was the big theme for me. It's not good.
No, it's not.
Honestly, I think the man needs a beard.
Yeah.
But he's like me and he can't grow one. But, I mean, they have fake beards that he could have worn, right?
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, the nose plays.
The nose always plays.
I didn't like Matt Damon's hair either. I also didn't particularly like his voiceover. It felt oddly paced to me. Like, it was stop and go, and like, this is the first war I fought that I've ever believed in.
I just don't think Matt Damon needs to be doing a period piece, like a Chinese period piece.
Yeah.
He feels extremely out of place.
Yeah, but it's the most expensive Chinese film ever, and they probably backed up that truck and like, here, buy a plane.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame the guy for doing it. They probably gave him a boatload of money.
Yeah,
but it just seems weird, and I don't know how I feel about the whole monster thing.
Yeah, it's initially when I heard about this, I thought it was in the future.
Yeah,
but it's not apparently. So
no, it's a long time ago.
Yeah. From director, I'm going to butcher the name, Yimou Zhang, who did House of the Flying Daggers and Hero back like in 2002, 2004 area. Both of those are great films. Majority of the film was shot in China. Just some interesting facts. Largest ever film shot in China that is getting a global release. I thought the costumes and like the visuals were really good.
Yeah, I agree. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how crazy I was about the CGI. Granted, it's early, and that's early CGI that they're just like, we got to get this trailer out. So it's not completely finished, but even then, I'm not entirely sold on it.
There's probably going to be some good fight scenes.
Would assume
there has to be.
Yeah, House of Flying Daggers and Hero have some tremendous fight scenes. So the director's going to bring that.
And just from the trailer, I wonder if Matt Damon's going to have a sword.
I only saw the bow.
Yeah, I know. I feel like he needs a sword. Or is that more of just a Japanese samurai type film? They have to have swords, right?
Yeah, everybody had swords back then.
He needs a sword.
I don't think it's good.
I don't want him to be like Legolas. To where only...
Legolas.
Yeah.
Legolas.
Just only shooting arrows. He's 3 feet from someone, but he's still, fast enough to get these arrows out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm sure there will be. Unfortunately, it's only a minute and a half long, so that's about all I got to say about the trailer.
Quick one.
Yeah.
Didn't even see Willem Dafoe.
No, you didn't. You didn't see a lot of the actors who were in it.
And I'm actually a big fan of Pedro Pascal.
Yeah?
Yeah. I liked him in...
Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones, but I was thinking the Netflix...
Marco Polo?
Narcos, yes. Thank you.
Did not know he was in that.
Yes.
I've yet to see Narcos.
He's actually really good in Narcos. Yeah, you got to think with subtitles, I know. You don't like to read.
If I don't have to, why bother? I read enough in my personal life. I don't need to read it when I'm enjoying a movie.
It's understandable.
Yeah. All right, so what did you guys think of the Great Wall trailer? Are you a fan of Matt Damon's hair? If you are, let us know in the comment section, and we will call you out for your horrid style.
Yeah, please give a great description on why, because no one's going to believe you.
Yeah. All right. And then our last trailer of the day, James.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah.
I thought the trailer was really good.
So did I. It tells a story of a conscious objector to the World War II? Yes, I believe World War II. Played by Andrew Garfield. He's a man who wants to be a doctor and go into the medical profession, and he's very religious, so he objects to anything involving the war, but he still wants to help out his country, and he wants to save lives. So he goes and...
Is it because of religion, or was it just because he wants to save lives and he didn't feel the need to take lives?
The way I interpreted it from the trailer was religion.
Okay.
Because he's got a couple of Bibles at one point. You see him praying once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
He never picks up a rifle, and he fights for that right to go in unarmed. And from the trailer, you see that he wins, and then he ends up saving 75 American lives. And during this one of the most heinous battles of the war.
It is also a true story, based on a true story.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. So, aside from just liking it, what'd you think of the trailer? Anything stand out?
Well, I want to get back to the director.
Ah, yes. Similar to Split, which we mentioned earlier. No name on this one.
Yeah.
Just former projects.
Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Dropped a bomb there.
Whether you like Mel Gibson or you don't like Mel Gibson or you think he is an anti-Semite or anything like that, the man's a talented director. Like, you can't really question that.
Yep.
Hitler was a shitty painter. He was a shitty person too. But if he was a good painter, you got to give him credit for being a good painter. Luckily, he wasn't. It was dog shit.
Thank God. I did think the trailer was good. I thought the action sequences looked pretty realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I got the feel of a We Were Soldiers type of trailer.
Another Mel Gibson flick.
Yep. I don't think he directed that one.
I don't think so either, but he was in it.
One of the biggest problems I had with it was Andrew Garfield's accent.
I get it. Yeah.
Just a little too heavy. It could have been a little more subtle.
Yeah.
And it would have been a better trailer.
Yeah, I agree.
It's probably going to be a better movie.
Yeah, I didn't love the accent, but it's probably one of those things while you're watching it, it'll disappear. Like, now that he's going to lose it, you'll just kind of stop noticing it from
I hope so.
Hearing it over and over. This movie's kind of the movie of comebacks, because you got Andrew Garfield, who he had that 99 Homes movie, but nobody really saw it, and everybody still thinks of him as Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
You got Vince Vaughn from all of his recent bombs. You have Sam Worthington.
True Detectives.
Yeah. Sam Worthington, who's nobody's seen since Avatar. And then you got Mel Gibson.
Yep.
So,
the only consistent actor that hasn't faltered is Hugo Weaving.
Yeah. And some would say that he's kind of an asshole and hasn't worked very much over the last couple of years. But for me, this movie looks like the first true Oscar contender of the year.
Long enough pause. I can't think of anything.
Yeah. It kind of felt like, for me, Rudy meets We Were Soldiers. Like, where everybody's kind of picking on him and like, you don't belong here. Like, you're not big enough. You're not fast enough. Not that they're saying that to this guy, but... And then by the end, you know what's going to happen. Like, he's going to save lives, or he's going to do something where he earns their respect, and like they look out for him and stuff like that.
That part of it's going to be cheesy, but necessary for the film.
Yeah, I agree. The one part of the trailer I didn't like was the kung fu spin around grenade slap.
Did he kick one?
He kicked it, yeah. Like he tipped it with his hand and then he kicked it like he was Pele.
I hope that's true. I really do. Because that'd be amazing.
It would be. So that was probably the only part I really didn't like.
And to be honest, I mean, I'd rather lose a foot than my arm, probably.
I'd lose my left arm over either one of my legs.
No, you see them cool little boot things that they got? That Olympic athletes use?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could rock one of them.
But you seen the stuff that like Robert Downey Jr. is giving to kids? Like he gives them like Iron Man arms from 3D printers.
You're not a kid, though.
True, and Robert Downey Jr. probably wouldn't show up. Kind of wish Scarlett Johansson would, though.
For different reasons.
Exactly. I'll show you both my stubs.
It's so messed up.
All right.
Now, is that an insult?
I don't think so. Well, it's an insult to me. I got a stub
That's what
dick.
I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on.
Let us know what you guys thought of this trailer. You can let us know in the comment section below. Hit us up on Facebook or on Twitter. Now on to the true topics. The first one being, one of the worst kept secrets in Hollywood is how much director Joss Whedon did not enjoy directing Avengers Age of Ultron. The creative-minded filmmaker grew tired of the massive shoot time and interference from Marvel executives to include or not include certain plot points. This ultimately led to Whedon not returning for any potential sequels, even going as far as to say he would never do another superhero film again. Well, after ComicCon a few weeks ago, it appears Whedon would be willing to return to the genre for a Black Widow film. Do you want to see Whedon return? And are you open to a Black Widow movie?
I'd like to see him return only if he's made some sort of deal with Marvel and they just give him creative freedom to let him do whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see another Age of Ultron where he has to just agree with everything they want.
Yeah, like I know like that Thor scene where he gets in the water and all that was forced on him. Like he had to include that and stuff like that.
Yeah. But the Black Widow film, completely okay with.
You are?
Yes.
I am not a huge fan. Well, first off, I'm not a huge fan of Black Widow in general. She works in the Avengers. I like her in the ensemble. I'm not a huge fan of her comics. I think I've only like read maybe one in my entire life, and she's a super spy. And Marvel has so many other female characters that I would love to see get a movie first. Like they're going to do Captain Marvel with Brie Larson that we've talked about. That's coming out in 2019. So I'm looking forward to that. They have the Wasp in Ant-Man and the Wasp. That looks like she's going to do very well. I don't need to see another... Like, I like the idea of grounded, realistic superheroes where the fantastic gets a real-world explanation. I don't need a super spy getting amplified in their own movie. I could maybe do a Hawkeye and Black Widow movie, but a solo I'm not sold on.
I like that idea.
Yeah. And
I agree. I mean, the solo film would just turn into... Could be like a female Bond.
Yeah, potentially.
Like, especially the Daniel Craig version.
Mm-hmm.
Because not so great path towards being a super spy.
Yeah. And the problem with what I said is I don't know where all the rights reside. Because Marvel, they have I wouldn't say they have a ton of female superheroes that you're like, yeah, I totally know who that is. They do have a lot of them, but most of them fall under the X-Men category.
Yeah.
Like Jean Grey, Jubilee, Emma Frost, Psylocke, even more. That I'm just kind of blanking on right now. Those guys are all X-Men, so most likely they belong to Fox. You'd have to do one of those things like they did with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, where they don't ever mention that they're X-Men. They just call them enhanced and stuff like that. And you could backdoor that, but who really wants to worry about that?
It's true.
Like I would like to see like a She-Hulk movie, maybe. Like see if that kind of works, because the She-Hulk, she's not the destroy everything monster the Hulk is. She's able to keep her true mind when she goes into Hulk mode. So I think that would be more interesting than a Black Widow movie, but we'll see going forward. As far as Whedon returning, I'm okay. The Russos have done such a great job, and they've made so many good choices with directing. I don't think Marvel needs Whedon back, but if he was coming back, I would want him to do a female superhero, because he writes women and directs women fantastically. I mean, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a great TV show. He's done so many projects like that. Moving on.
Big things are coming for the world of classic monster movies, and not only from Universal, as we have been reporting for the past few months. Lionsgate is working on a feature film adaptation of a BBC One series entitled Jekyll, with Chris Evans being eyed for the lead role. The premise of the show and the film adaptation is a modern take on the classic Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde story, focusing around the last living descendant of the brilliant scientist and murdering psychopath, and his attempt to make a deal with the split personalities. What are your thoughts on the film and potential casting?
As a film, I think it sounds very intriguing. Essentially, this descendant has the same issues that the first Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde did. But the difference is his personalities have made a deal with each other, because the Dr. Jekyll part doesn't remember what goes on when Mr. Hyde is out, and the Mr. Hyde part doesn't remember what goes on when the Dr. Jekyll part is out. So the Dr. Jekyll part has this whole, in the TV series, I haven't watched it, but I read it on Wikipedia, this whole family that he doesn't want the other side to know about and things like that. And simultaneously, neither one of them know that they're being watched by this incredibly wealthy and powerful scientific group, who I assume plan to use his abilities / take advantage of him.
Yeah, that's a good assumption.
Yeah, so I think that in that way, it's very interesting, and it sounds like a movie I would want to see. I mean, even just the mention of this makes me kind of want to go look up the TV series that came out in 2007. The idea of it competing against the Russell Crowe version of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde that's supposed to show up in that movie universe is interesting. This one will hit before his solo movie does, if Russell Crowe gets a solo spinoff. So I think it's smart to try to beat them to the punch. What do you think?
I like the movie you just described. I think it'll be interesting seeing knowing and not knowing of each character. And having separate lives seems kind of chaotic. I think it can work if the right director is involved. I'm not so sure about Chris Evans, though.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
I feel like he's just... I don't know if I'm just so used to seeing him play Captain America. And he's sort of a dull character. And I don't know if he's able to do both sides. And I know, he's not much of an actor anymore. He kind of just wants to do more directing.
Yeah.
And so this makes me wonder, why he chose this.
Well, I don't know if he's actually chosen it or they're just trying to get him to do it. So
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but even then, I agree with you. Have we ever seen Dark Chris Evans?
What was that one movie where he's a lawyer but also a drug addict?
Because everything short of Snowpiercer, I guess he gets a little dark, but he's still ultimately the hero in that movie.
Yeah.
But trying to think, all I can picture is What's Your Number with Anna Faris, where he's the love interest good guy. He's the good guy obviously in Captain America. He's the good guy in Fantastic Four. He's the good guy in Not Another Teen Movie. He was a good guy in The Losers.
Puncture.
I did not see that movie.
It's actually interesting.
Yeah?
Basically, he's a lawyer that is addicted to drugs, and he fights against a health corporation with battling his own demons of drugs.
Well, so there's a little Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde in that role. I assume
that's true.
He's got to keep that drug problem hidden under wraps.
Yeah, that's a good point. But that's the only movie that I can think of that was anything close to that.
Yeah, so I'm not going to doubt he can do it, because I think he is talented, and I think he's been working with some high-class actors over the last few... he's spent a lot of time with Downey Jr. I'm sure he's picked his brain on some of the really dark stuff Downey used to do.
Or just his life in general.
That, too. What do you guys think of this movie? Do you think Chris Evans can pull off the dark side, or do you think it's just a waste of time? Do you think this movie can compete with the Universal big-budget version that they're doling out with Tom Cruise and Johnny Depp rumored, and Javier Bardem and Sofia Boutella?
I was going to say The Mummy.
Yeah. So let us know what you guys thought in the comment section below, or you can hit us up on Twitter. Next up, we have the most exciting, the most exhilarating, the absolute best part of our show. Probably not. The crap we didn't have time for. This week, we have 3 pretty interesting topics. All things that are very interesting in their own right, but let's face facts, you can't talk about these for more than a minute without getting all the details out you need. So, first up we have Meryl Streep will co-star in Mary Poppins Returns, which already has Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins, as Topsy-Turvy, Mary Poppins' cousin. She did not appear in the original film, but she is a large character in the book series. I lied, there are 4 topics. Next up, we have Jessica Chastain to join Jake Gyllenhaal for the film adaptation of Ubisoft's The Division. Lights Out 2 has been greenlight by Lionsgate. Duh. And Avengers Infinity War, which originally was supposed to be entitled Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and Avengers Infinity War Part 2, have now officially named Part 1 Avengers Infinity War, and the second film has now been changed to Untitled Avengers Film. So, James, of these topics, which ones are you most interested in?
Jessica Chastain to join Jake Gyllenhaal for the film adaptation of The Division, because I love Jessica Chastain. And I love Jake Gyllenhaal, too. Not in the same way, of course, but go ahead. Did you say maybe?
I did.
Oh, I didn't hear that. So what if I do, goddammit?
I agree with you. I mean, I'm curious what role she plays, because I have played the video game a little bit, / I've watched my roommate play a decent amount. And like there are medical centers and stuff like that, and I don't want her to get like just be some nurse, like
doctor,
cliched who like is just helping people. I kind of want her to be a badass soldier. Like, I mean, she's done it before, and like you take the character she played in The Huntsman and combine it with the character she played in Zero Dark 30, and that's awesome.
I agree.
Yeah. My choice to talk about is Meryl Streep in Mary Poppins Returns. I think that's kind of awesome. I mean, you're going to get one of the greatest actors in American history in one of the most iconic films, sequels, like, of all time. And then on top of that, you've already got Emily Blunt in this movie. And it's just one of those things where maybe I don't see this movie, even if I wasn't doing a podcast, I probably wouldn't have seen it. But now that you add that talent, I'm intrigued by it. I want to see it.
And I think Meryl Streep is someone that can definitely surpass Emily Blunt's talents. And she could definitely be a centerpiece of the movie.
Yeah, like she could be the most memorable part for sure. She can steal the show.
Yep, and I think that's good for the movie. Not so much for Emily Blunt, but
yeah,
I think she'll go along just fine with it.
I think so too. All right, so those were all the topics for today. Let us know which one you liked the most, and just hit us up in every way possible that we're going to tell you right now. We really like listening and hearing from you guys. Not that it happens often enough, but thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please like the show and subscribe to the I've Had Better Podcast Network. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at IHB Podcast, and on Facebook, go like the I've Had Better Podcast page. James, tell the people where they can find you.
You can follow me on Twitter at _Kaiser_Soze, or on Facebook as Jimmy Langos, and check out the website www.ihbpodcast.com, and subscribe and listen to our iTunes page, and you can find that by searching for IHB Podcast, IHB Movies, I've Had Better Podcast, and also our names.
Yeah. And I am Dominic Demore. You can follow me on Twitter at Dom Demore, or on Facebook as Dominic Demore. James, how was your show today?
I've had better.
Good night, everybody.